Alright guys, so I've been on a bit of a case knife kick lately, and I've bought several. I've kind of gotten back into the idea of traditionals and these more classic style of folders. And I've had a lot of enjoyment in getting on eBay and finding good deals on some of these knives. And I feel like I've gotten some really good deals on just about every knife I've bought off eBay, and so far I've had good luck with all of them, as far as, you know, the condition they were in and everything when they arrived. So the very first knife that I bought since I've kind of gotten back into the case knives was this orange Copperlock on the left. Obviously it's a full size. I've got a mini on the right, but the full size, a lot of people think they're a little big, and they probably are a little big in the pocket, but I tend to carry all mine in a knife slip, and or a small leather sheath, and most of them I've made myself. But when I carry them like that, you know, it doesn't matter how big they are. I find the mini to be a little small, even though it's not a bad size. It just seems a little small for some of the things that I would typically use a knife like this for. But the full-size Copperlock seems to be my favorite pattern at the moment. I like the locking blade, I like the style, and I like the way they look. As you can see here, I've got a one of the burnt indigo Copperlocks with the Wharncliffe blade. And some of you may be saying, well, that doesn't look like the burnt indigos that I've seen. And you're right, it is a little more blue, and it has a lot less of the burnt ends. And when I saw this knife, I got this knife for $50 with free shipping. I just couldn't pass it up because I had been wanting one of these burnt indigo Copperlocks with the Wharncliffe blade. And so when I found this one for $50, I just couldn't pass it up, even though it's not the best example of the burnt indigo color that I have seen. But for $50, I couldn't pass it up. I jumped on it. It's got the arrowhead shield, which I also like, the Wharncliffe blade. You know, it's much different than the standard clip point blade in a lot of ways, but you know, as something I collect, and a knife that I will carry, you know, out to town and stuff, maybe not every day to work, but I really like it. It's beautiful blue. It does have a little bit of the brown where they burned it right here, but overall it's mostly just a nice royal blue color, and that's okay. The orange one here is just your typical standard blade, and yeah, it does have some scratches on it. Whoever had this before me, they used it just like I do sometimes. But I got this knife for $39, and I can't remember if I got free shipping or if I had to pay a couple of dollars, but either way, I got this knife for $39, and it is just about perfect. Like a lot of the Copperlocks, the blade centering isn't perfect. It does sit off to the side a little bit, but it's otherwise the condition's perfect. I mean, for $39, I consider this an absolute steal. You can see some of those scratches right there where somebody obviously was cutting something pretty aggressively, but otherwise it's perfect. It's part of my collection, and I don't think I would ever, you know, part with it. Alright, now the mini Copperlock here. This is another good deal that I found. I got this little guy for $30, and the description read that it needed a good cleaning, and they were not kidding. This little knife was just gunked up. It had so much grime in the pivot point and between the bolsters here where the blade pivots that it literally had no snap at all. I mean, when I first got it, I thought, oh man, this thing's kind of wore out, and I wasn't real crazy about it, but I gave it a good cleaning, and now it's got a little bit of snap to it. It's probably not the heaviest snap that I've ever seen, but it does have a good snap, and I cleaned it real well. Took a little tiny metal pick and got in there and got all the lint and dirt and grime out of it. Gave it all a good polishing, and other than a little spot on the tip of the blade there that you may not, I can't get that off, or I haven't been able to with what I've done with it so far, and it's been used. It's got scratches all over the blade, but I'm not a collector, as in like put my knives in a knife roll and roll them up, stick them under the bed kind of a collector. Now I don't carry a knife like this every single day, but I do carry them, and I do get them out and use them from time to time. I just don't abuse them. So there's my 3 Copperlocks. I'm sure that I will find some other ones in the near future. I've actually got my eye on a burnt green handled Copperlock, and hopefully I'll be able to acquire that one pretty soon. But for now, I've got this is the I believe they call this the Harvest Orange, Burnt Indigo, and this is just your standard amber jig bone. And I really like them all. I wouldn't get rid of any of them. And just so you know, this is the Copperlock. It's the locking mid-locking knife from Case. It's a combination of a copper head and a trapper, and most of you already know that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed checking out my knives. This is my first video where I've done any talking, so it's going to take me a little while to get used to that. But I hope you enjoyed this, and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing some gun stuff soon. I'm a big shotgun collector, and mostly riot type shotguns, and we're going to be doing some of that stuff in the near future, along with a lot more case knife videos. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.